Thank you for coming, my fellow amendments to the U.S. Constitution. As you know, over the many years we have lived, there have been many attempts to do us in. Do you remember when John Adams signed the Alien and Sedition Act in 1798? That was scary, rounding up people who challenged the government. All because the French were getting a little rowdy during the Revolution. It's cold in here. Must be the winds of tyranny and dictatorship blowing. After all, as amendments, we were supposed to protect all the people, not just the people who were in power at the time. Thank goodness the people came to their senses and finally threw those Federalists out who tried to kill some of us with the Alien and Sedition Act. They finally declared it was unconstitutional, as if we didn't already know that. Stop the laughing. I guess they just couldn't read the Constitution, or they were more worried about being safe from the French than about their freedom. And what about Franklin Roosevelt interning all those Japanese in World War II? Even though they were U.S. citizens, and interning them sure was unconstitutional. It was done anyway. People were scared of the Japanese and they didn't want any on the loose. We tried to tell them, as clauses of the Constitution, that they couldn't do it according to the Constitution. But of course, they did it because they were scared. As if that's reason enough. Stop laughing! This is serious. They had a lot of egg on their faces after the war. A lot of upset Japanese, too. And let's not forget, what's his name? Oh, yes, Senator McCarthy. There's a guy that really didn't give a rat's ear about us constitutional amendments. He and his cronies thought that you could ignore the Constitution all you want, as long as you were fighting, what do you call them, commies. That guy got a lot of political mileage out of abusing us before people finally got fed up and took him down. What a jerk he was. I was reminiscing about it. I can think of 158 acts of Congress that we had to get declared unconstitutional over the years. That's the big boys. They should know better. I guess some of them have a problem with the freedoms we try so hard to guarantee. That freedom must make their lives harder somehow. They just don't get it. And there were lots of local and federal and state laws that flunked the Constitution test over the years that we had to object to and get thrown out. Well, they stuck another one in, and this one's really bad. Amendment 5, you definitely won't like it. If we don't do something about it, it's going to kill you, and it's going to hurt a lot of you. I know, it's scary. Try to bear it. Take it easy. We're going to fight this thing. Here's the scoop. Every year they pass a new NDAA. That's National Defense Authorization Act, for those of you who weren't paying attention. It's a big bill, and it needs to get passed to fund the military. Well, some of those Congress people are getting scared again. You know, there's Al-Qaeda, also known as the boogeyman. Stop laughing! Then there's this Occupy Wall Street thing and economic collapse. A lot of the rest of the world is getting a bit uppity with protests and strikes. A couple of rulers even got booted out of office. Well, we all have known enough people in Congress over the years to know that when they get scared, They overreact. They're scared. A couple of the slicker talking people in Congress slipped a few very nasty clauses right into the middle of the big NDAA bill. Totally unrelated to the rest of the bill, but I guess the slick talkers thought everyone would let what they stuck in the big bill get passed with the big bill, which had to be passed, or no military budget. That was a really dirty trick. These guys knew what they stuck in would never get passed by itself, so they tried to hide it. Didn't work. Don't laugh. We caught it. This is really bad. What they did was call the U.S. a battlefield and say that the military can operate inside the United States again. What's it been, 200 years since they did that? And detain anyone they think they need to without a trial or proof. Sorry, Amendment 5, don't cry. That's not the worst part. Not only can they detain someone, they can detain someone indefinitely. Don't like that, do you? Take it easy. Does anyone think that this might be unconstitutional? Surprise! It is unconstitutional, and they should have known better. Bad Congress. Don't worry, Amendment 5, we're not going to let them kill you. Just like all the times in the past, we're going to get them. This piece of trash is not going to stay around like it is. It has to be brought in line with the Constitution or eliminated. So, let's get the word out. Some people are attacking us, the U.S. Constitution and its amendments once again. It's time for all the good citizens out there to rise up and say no. We will not let a few people, afraid of losing power, prestige, and money, take away the rights guaranteed by the Constitution. This law is not needed. The FBI and criminal justice system do a great job of protecting us. These Congresspeople who support this bill are just trying to protect themselves. Well, we're not going to let them call out the army in the United States and start rounding up their enemies for them. They're going to have to find another way, because we're going to let the word out about just how constitutional this whole thing is. So, fellow amendments, let's get to work!